Hello friends and welcome. Today we shall talk about quantitative structure activity relationships, that is QSAR, statistical techniques behind QSAR and classical QSAR. Let us first try to have a look at the main objectives of today's deliberation. Number first, to give a general and thorough idea about QSAR. Number second, we shall be explaining in detail the methods and applications of QSAR. Number third, we will be discussing in detail the statistical techniques behind QSAR. And finally, we shall be discussing classical QSAR. Now, we will start with the introduction about QSAR. Quantitative structure activity relationship models or QSAR models are regression or classification models used in the chemical and biological sciences and engineering. A QSAR model relates a set of structural descriptors of a chemical compound to its biological activity. Like other regression models, QSAR regression models relate a set of predictor variables x to the potency of the responsive variable y, while classification QSAR models relate the predictor variables to a categorical value of the response variable. In QSAR modeling, the predictors consist of physicochemical properties or theoretical molecular descriptors of chemicals. The QSAR response variable could be a biological activity of the chemicals. QSAR models first summarize a supposed relationship between chemical structures and biological activity in a data set of chemicals. Second, QSAR models predict the activities of new chemicals. Related terms include quantitative structure property relationships or QSPR when a chemical property is modeled as the response variable. Different properties or behaviors of chemical molecules have been investigated in the field of QSPR. Some examples are quantitative structure reactivity relationships, that is QSRR, quantitative structure chromatography relationships, that is QSCR, and quantitative structure toxicity relationships, that is QSTR, quantitative structure electrochemistry relationships, that is QSER, and quantitative structure biodegradability relationships, that is QSBR. As an example, biological activity can be expressed quantitatively as the concentration of a substance required to give a certain biological response. Additionally, when physicochemical properties or structures are expressed by numbers, one can find a mathematical relationship or quantitative structure activity relationship between the two. The mathematical expression, if carefully validated, can then be used to predict the modeled response of other chemical structures. A QSAR has the form of a mathematical model, which is expressed as activity is equal to function of physicochemical properties and structural properties plus error. The error includes model error, that is bias, and observational variability, that is the variability in the observations even on a correct model. Now coming to the purpose of QSAR, to predict biological activity and physicochemical properties by rational means, to comprehend and rationalize the mechanisms of action within a series of chemicals, savings in the cost of product development. Predictions could reduce the requirement for lengthy and expensive animal tests. Reduction of animal tests, thus reducing animal use and obviously pain and discomfort to animals. Other areas of promoting green and greener chemistry to increase efficiency and eliminate waste. The earliest examples of QSAR were Hansch analysis and Free-Wilson analysis, which are actually applications of linear regression. Hansch analysis pertained to property descriptors and Free-Wilson to structural descriptors. Free-Wilson defined a function that equates activity defined as log of 1 divided by the concentration with weighted descriptors, the weightings or coefficients being determined by linear regression. That is, we have the equation log 1 divided by c is equal to a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus a3 x3 and so on. Where c is the concentration required for the activity, x1, x2, x3 etc. are the descriptor values and a1, a2, a3 etc. are the coefficients derived from linear regression. Now, let us discuss the essential steps in QSAR studies. Principal steps of QSAR, QSPR studies include selection of data set and extraction of structural or empirical descriptors, variable selection, model construction and validation evaluation. Now, coming to the types. Number first is the fragment based or group contribution. Analogously, the partition coefficient, which is a measurement of differential solubility and itself a component of QSAR predictions, can be predicted either by atomic methods known as X log P or A log P, or by chemical fragment methods known as C log P and other variations. It has been shown that the log P of compound can be determined by the sum of its fragments. Fragment based methods are generally accepted as better predictors than atomic based methods. Fragmentary values have been determined statistically based on empirical data for known log P values. This method gives mixed results and is generally not trusted to have accuracy of more than plus minus 0.1 units. Group or fragment based QSAR is also known as GQSAR. GQSAR allows flexibility to study various molecular fragments of interest in relation to the variation in biological response. The molecular fragments could be substituents at various substitution sites in congeneric set of molecules, or could be on the basis of predefined chemical rules in case of non-congeneric sets. Number second is the 3D QSAR. 3D QSAR refers to the applications of force field calculations requiring three-dimensional structures, for example, based on protein crystallography or molecule superimposition. It uses computed potentials, for example, Lennard-Jones potential, rather than experimental constants, and is concerned with the overall molecule rather than a single substituent. It examines the steric fields, that is shape of the molecule, the hydrophobic regions, that is water soluble surfaces, and the electrostatic fields. The created data space is then usually reduced by a following feature extraction. Number third is the chemical descriptor based. In this approach, descriptors quantifying various electronic, geometric or steric properties of a molecule are computed and used to develop a QSAR. This approach is different from the fragment or group contribution approach in that the descriptors are computed for the system as whole rather than from the properties of individual fragments. This approach is different from the 3D QSAR approach in that the descriptors are computed from scalar quantities rather than from 3D fields. Number fourth is the data mining approach. Computer SAR models typically calculate a relatively large number of features. Because those lack structural interpretation ability, the pre-processing steps face a feature selection problem. Feature selection can be accomplished by visual inspection, by data mining, or by molecule mining. A typical data mining based prediction uses, for example, support vector machines, decision trees, neural networks for inducing a predictive learning model, etc. Molecule mining approaches, a special case of structured data mining approaches, apply a similarity matrix based prediction or an automatic fragmentation scheme into molecular substructures. Number fifth is the matched molecular pair analysis. Typically, QSAR models derived from non-linear machine learning is seen as a black box which fails to guide medicinal chemists. Recently, there is a relatively new concept of matched molecular pair analysis or prediction-driven MMPA, which is coupled with QSAR model in order to identify activity cliffs. Now, coming to the evaluation of the quality of QSAR models. QSAR modeling produces predictive models derived from application of statistical tools correlating biological activity, including desirable therapeutic effect and undesirable side effects or physicochemical properties in QSPR models of chemicals with descriptors representative of molecular structure or properties. QSARs are being applied in many disciplines, for example, risk assessment, toxicity prediction, and regulatory decisions, in addition to drug discovery and lead optimization. Obtaining a good quality QSAR model depends on many factors such as the quality of input data, the choice of descriptors and statistical methods for modeling and for validation. Any QSAR modeling should ultimately lead to statistically robust and predictive models capable of making accurate and reliable predictions of the modeled response of new compounds. For validation of QSAR models, usually various strategies are adopted. Number first is the internal validation or cross validation, and number second is the external validation by splitting the available data set into training set for model development and prediction set for model predictivity check, and number third, blind external validation by application of model on new external data. Number fourth, data randomization or Y-scrambling for verifying the absence of chance correlation between the response and the modeling descriptors. The success of any QSAR model depends on accuracy of the input data, selection of appropriate descriptors and statistical tools, and most importantly, validation of the developed model. Validation is the process by which the reliability and relevance of a procedure are established for a specific purpose. For QSAR models, validation must be mainly for robustness, prediction performances, and applicability domain of the models. Now, coming to the applications. Number first is the chemical. One of the first historical QSAR applications was to predict boiling points. It is well known, for instance, that within a particular family of chemical compounds, especially of organic chemistry, that there are strong correlations between structure and observed properties. A simple example is the relationship between the number of carbons in alkanes and their boiling points. There is a clear trend in the increase of boiling point with an increase in the number of carbons, and this serves as a means for predicting the boiling points of higher alkanes. A still very interesting application is the Hammett equation, Taft equation, and pKa prediction methods. Number second are the biological applications. The biological activity of molecules is usually measured in assays to establish the level of inhibition of particular signal transduction or metabolic pathways. Drug discovery often involves the use of QSAR to identify chemical structures that could have good inhibitory effect on specific targets and have low toxicity, that is, or non-specific activity. Of special interest is the prediction of partition coefficient log P, which is an important measure used in identifying drug likeness according to Lipinski's rule of 5. Now, coming to its applications in drug discovery and toxicology. Quantitative structure activity relationships attempt to correlate chemical structure with activity using statistical approaches. The QSAR models are useful for various purposes, including the prediction of activities of untested chemicals. Quantitative structure activity relationships and other related approaches have attracted broad scientific interest, particularly in the pharmaceutical industry for drug discovery and in toxicology and environmental science for risk assessment. Next is the applications in biomolecular discovery. Empirical methods for building predictive models of the relationships between molecular structure and useful properties are becoming increasingly important. This has arisen because drug discovery and development have become more complex. A large amount of biological target information is becoming available through molecular biology. Automation of chemical synthesis and pharmacological screening has also provided a vast amount of experimental data. Current challenges faced by QSAR modeling coverage and comprehensiveness of metabolic data represents a critical issue with respect to QSAR modeling. Several reasons could be outlined. Number first, quantitative data on binding constants, kinetic parameters of metabolic reactions and product distribution metrics have to be measured under comparable experimental conditions to be suitable to derive quantitative structure metabolism relationship models. Number second, experimental elucidation of chemical metabolites is a time and cost intensive process. Number third, experimental systems used to investigate metabolism in vitro are not necessarily comparable because the cells originate from different species. Number fourth, polymorphism of critical metabolic enzymes such as cytochrome P450, 2C19, etc. might not be considered in older publications. Number fifth, clinical data, if available, must properly take into account differences in sex, age, disease, medication of the study projects. Now, let us discuss the next part of our today's lecture, that is statistical techniques behind QSAR. QSAR studies are aimed at developing correlation models using a response of chemicals and chemical information data in a statistical approach. The regression and classification based strategies are employed to serve the purpose of developing models for quantitative and graded response data respectively. In addition to the conventional methods, various machine learning tools are also useful for QSAR modeling analysis, especially for studies involving high dimensional and complex chemical information data bearing a non-linear relationship with the response under consideration. QSAR models represent mathematical equations correlating the response of chemicals with their structural and physicochemical information in the form of numerical quantities, that is, descriptors. Suitable statistical methods are deployed to derive a robust mathematical correlation involving small to large number of variables. Various regression and classification based methods are used for this purpose. Regression based approaches are employed when the response data of chemicals are entirely numerical, that is, quantitative, while qualitative or semi-quantitative chemical responses are modeled using classification techniques. It may be noted that the descriptors in both the cases of regression and classification based methods will be explicitly quantitative values. The regression based methods enable the quantitative prediction of the response, while classification methods allow categorization of the data points into several groups or classes such as highly active and less active. In addition to the conventional methods, machine learning based methods are also useful in developing QSAR models. It may be noted that the machine learning tools employing artificial intelligence can also be used to solve regression and classification based problems. Now, apart from the model development formalisms, various statistical tools are also useful for feature selection from a large matrix of descriptor data. The feature selection tools enable the use of suitable and relevant descriptors for a particular response, thereby removing noises from the analysis. Furthermore, the descriptor data matrix can also be subjected to various pruning methods to reduce intercorrelated and redundant chemical information. The developed QSAR models are also subjected to several validation tests to check for the reliability of the developed correlation models. After its development, a QSAR model is usually verified by employing multiple statistical validation strategies, giving an estimation of its predictivity and stability. According to the OECD guidelines, the development of a QSAR model should comply with the unambiguous algorithm strategies, and the model should pass various tests: model fitness, robustness and predictivity. Now coming to the chemometric tools. Chemometrics is the chemical discipline that uses statistical methods to design optimal procedures, experiments and objects, and to provide maximum chemical information by analyzing chemical data. QSAR is basically a statistical approach correlating the response property or activity data with descriptors encoding chemical information. Such correlation may be derived either in a regression based approach or a classification based approach. The most commonly used regression based approaches are as follows. Number first is the multiple linear regression, that is MLR. Number second is the partial least squares, that is PLS. Some of the common classification based approaches are as follows. Number first is the linear discriminant analysis, that is LDA, and number second is the cluster analysis. Machine learning tools such as artificial neural network, support vector machine are also very effective in developing predictive models, particularly handling with high dimensional and complex chemical information data showing a non-linear relationship with the response of the chemicals. However, before any statistical model building method is applied, the QSAR data table may be required to be pre-treated, followed by application of a suitable feature selection method. The multiple linear regression method calculates QSAR equations by performing standard multivariable regression calculations using multiple variables in a single equation. Now, coming to the last part of our today's lecture, that is classical QSAR. Classical quantitative structure activity relationships, that is CQSAR, has provided the foundation of modern QSAR concepts. It includes the de novo model, that is mathematical approach of Free-Wilson, as well as its modified version as suggested by Fujita and Ban, and the linear free energy related, that is LFER approach of Hansch, which has been very successful in its application in QSAR studies. While the Free-Wilson analysis has some serious limitations, the Hansch approach is very general as it supports the use of newer types of descriptors denoting the fundamental physicochemical properties, that is hydrophobic, electronic and steric. With the application of the bilinear modeling approach of Kubini and the mixed approach employing the concept of the Fujita-Ban model, the Hansch analysis has numerous examples of successful model development with demonstrated practical utility. The Hansch analysis is also very useful in exploring the mechanism of action of a congeneric series of compounds. With that, we come to the end of today's lecture. Hope you have understood it well. Thank you very much and goodbye.